And here in the Blue Peter studio is the very car in which Jim Clark won the Indianapolis 500. And what an absolutely splendid car it is too. It's a Lotus Ford Type 38. Now the interesting thing is that it was specially designed for the race because the British designers realized that in the Indianapolis 500 the cars never ever turned to the right. So they incorporated this into the design by, in fact, moving the whole of the bodywork over onto the left-hand side of the car. Now, do you see here the gap between there and that wheel, and between here and this wheel is very much smaller on the far side. This is quite wide. And it was this particular thing that they did, which they're pretty sure, so the experts say, led Jim Clark to win the actual race. Just got the edge on the Americans because he could take the corners that bit faster. But just look at the tyres on this car. Here's another interesting fact, actually. They're twice as wide as a mini car, about 8 inches across. And at the end of the race, Jim Clark only had 3 more laps worth of tyre rubber on his tyres before they became unsafe. And then here, the cockpit. Well, of course, in a special car like this, it's absolutely tailor-made for the driver. Fits him just like a glove. And one other thing, which I wouldn't have liked, is the fact that on either side, just here and here, are the fuel tanks. So that meant that Jim Clark was driving in a very dangerous race, sitting right in the middle of a petrol tank containing very high-octane fuel. But it was not only the skill of Jim Clark, I think, which won the race, but a lot of praise must go to the Ford engine. Enormous engine it is, too. It's got 8 cylinders set in a V, and it develops 500 brake horsepower. Now, on the side here, you can see the big air intakes, which suck the air in for the fuel system. It doesn't have carburetors. That's all fuel injection. And at the back, like 2 mighty guns sticking out, they're the exhaust pipes. And if you look in here, you'll see this great sort of mass of spaghetti. Well, it isn't spaghetti. It's all been very carefully worked out so that each pipe is bent carefully and truly to give the best quality exhaust system for the car. Well, there we are, the winning car from a fantastic race, and I think a fantastic car. I'm very glad to have actually been able to see it as close as this. Well, you know, a lot of people would like to take up motor racing, but they don't because racing cars, as you can see, cost an awful lot of money. But now they've got the answer. They can teach you motor car racing without you actually having to go on the track. And they do this by using a racing car simulator. And here is the one that they've got down at the racing car school at Brands Hatch. Now, this is a Formula 3 car, another Lotus, in fact. And when you sit in this and you drive off, every single movement that you make with the accelerator, pressing it down, more noise comes out. When you turn the wheel, when you apply the brakes, when you change gear, all these things that happen are then taken electronically by a computer. And a picture of exactly what you're doing on the circuit is then put out on this screen here, just behind me. Now, I'll show you what I mean, where the computer is. It's round the back here. Inside here, you've got a big tray. And on the tray itself is a scale model of the circuit at Brands Hatch. Now, as you drive along and turn the wheel, so this is turned by the computer, just the amount that you have. And it moves around underneath this bright light that you can see here. Now, this bright light's got a little mirror behind it, and it reflects the shadow of the circuit onto that screen which I just mentioned, which is behind me here, and gives you an absolutely perfect idea of what the track is like before you actually go onto it. And of course, after training on this, you would then go out in one of the school's racing cars and do the job properly. But this is where you learn all about corners and braking. So I'm going to see if I can become a potential Jim Clark in the next couple of years, and I'm actually going to have a go on it. So I'll uncouple myself. There we are. This again is a very tight cockpit to get into. Let's see how we get on. Oops, I've got my sweater caught. There. Ah, we're switched on. You can hear the engine starting to rev up there. There it is. So if we can have the lights, please, on the circuit, we'll be in business. Clutch is in. There you are. There you can see the circuit coming up very clearly. I'm going into first now. pressing on the accelerator, revving up, gunning her a bit, and we're off. And I'm still in first, coming down into second on this corner, turning into it, and there's a bit of straight now, into third, up on the embanking, and doing a hard turn here, letting my foot, whoa, onto the grass, that's not very good, and round we go. Nearly missed that corner. It's very easy to take it just that little bit too fast, and round we go, coming into a bit of straight, taking this wide on the grass now, and turning in, cutting through the corner, and round we go again, just touching the brakes, revving the engine, round we come, into the straight, really gunning her here, coming right up the straight, getting out on the top side of the corner, round we come, turning her hard, feel my tail going a bit, whoa, we're into the hedges, whoopee, into the hedge. I'll just swing it round a bit actually, Val, so that you can come on to the right place. Yes, but don't do what I did, and let's go in too fast.
Let's go.
Oh, switch off.
Let's see how I get on.
Goodness me.
Didn't
even have a crash helmet on. I think you'll need a cushion for this. I've got one down here for you.
All right, I've got such long legs.
Oh, it's very exciting. All right.
I haven't
You in?
driven a racing car.
Well, try it. You haven't, have you? All
No.
right. How's that?
Right down, yes?
All right.
Now what do? Switch on first?
Yes. Turn on as you do an ordinary car. That's right. There you've got your engine now.
Can I cheat, not do it in gear at all, and it's third?
Yes, you've got to go in third. That's right. No changing
lights.
gears then. All right.
See what
There's your
happens.
track coming up. Now you may be a bit off. Are you all right then?
Where's the track? You didn't get me back on
You're
the
off.
track.
You're going.
Oh yes, here we are. Where? I've lost it.
Well, when you find a bit of track, steer down.
I'm going across the fields at the moment. There we are, there's the track. This is gorgeous.
I think you're going round Brands Hatch the wrong way. I don't know if you said anything, but anyway. Keep going. There, you're going round the right way. It's all right.
I don't think it's really quite the idea to go around without changing gear, but still, we'll see what happens.
Probably have automatic racing cars.
There's a corner. This is quite a tricky corner, this one. Is this the straight? Yes.
Well, be. Too bad if it isn't.
Hey, it's marvellous. Whoops, maybe went on the verge then. Great, whoops. Lost it for a moment. There we are. Gives you a very good idea, doesn't it? Round the bend, and another bend ahead. Whoops. Pretty tricky. Nice corner I cut there. Now it's straight. The grid, and ease up on the... Oh. we are, that's
Your
the
time
end.
is up.
Great.
Come in 42.
That's tremendous. I'd like to practice on that for a bit longer.
Yeah.
See what happens.